Call me a hoarder, I don't care. I'm definitely not a minimalist, but I am pretty sustainable. In my opinion, there's like no reason to produce new products. We already have so many. Let's make use of what we already have and repair the things that need repairing instead of just throwing them away. We have plastic in our bodies and in our blood, and I don't really think that's cool. As a spiritual person, if our body is filled with not only heavy metals from the shit we're putting in it, but microplastics, it's going to be very hard to become less dense and ascend. Hello everybody, I am Sydalexandria, and today we have a more sustainable, green, eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, low waste, zero waste video. So I am into all things spiritual, but I am also an environmentalist. So we are going to be talking about weird things I do to be more sustainable, as well as some products that I use. This is just going to be kind of like a full spectrum, what my habits are, what kind of products I use, random things that I do to help the environment. So I am by no means zero waste. I try to be as low waste as possible. This means that I am very aware and very conscious of all things that I am consuming, producing, all of this. So I try not to have a lot of garbage, okay? And that's really hard to do if you live in America like I do, in like a consumer society, a society where we are really expected to just consume, and therefore produce waste, and then send it to the landfill. Eventually, this whole continent is going to be filled with garbage if we keep doing this. So I'm like, better start living more sustainably, right? What does living sustainably mean? Living sustainably means living a lifestyle, living in a way that can be sustained long term. That's what it boils down to, okay? It's not this super weird hippie thing, but that's what it's perceived as. So I'm telling you these weird hippie things that I do to hopefully make it not so weird if you see other people doing this, or if you want to do this yourself, okay? Because guess what? We have plastic in our bodies and in our blood, and I don't really think that's cool, okay? Because as a spiritual person, my channel is mainly about like scientific spirituality. If our body is filled with not only heavy metals from the shit we're putting in it, but as well microplastics, it's going to be very hard to become less dense and ascend. So if you are thinking about this from a spiritual perspective and not really concerned about the earth, but concerned more so about your ascension, you can think of it like that. Being as low waste as possible just has so many benefits. I can't even begin to name them all. So let's get into these things I do to help Earth, Terra, Mother Gaia, as well as my body. Also, I am into very holistic stuff. I think this is important to mention. I'm into natural remedies. I don't like things like aluminum or fluoride or sulfates or color dyes, etc. So a lot of the products that I'm going to mention are free of aluminum, fluoride, all of those. Any toothpaste I mentioned, no fluoride. Any deodorant I mentioned, no aluminum. That's extremely important to me. However, what is also very important is using what I already have. This is going to be a reoccurring theme in this video. Weird things that I do to be more sustainable is I do use the products that I have already accumulated previously, all of these years ago, okay? Because when I was 18 for my birthday, I asked for a ton of shampoo and conditioner and soap and body wash and laundry detergent. So I'm still using up all of those, and mascara and face concealer, okay? This is not pretty. This is not pretty. But I will use every last drop of this, okay? It doesn't go up anymore, but I use every last drop of this. Every day that I work, I don't wear makeup on days that I don't work, but on days that I do work, it is my ritual to kind of put, it's my ritual to put makeup on my face, just mascara and concealer, to kind of get into that zone of, I'm going into my matrix job right now. Let's not talk too much about astrology and aliens. So I take my pinky and I scrape out every morning before work and, you know, use up every last drop of this before I will switch to a environmentally friendly brand or just go makeup free like I do most days. But yeah, I'm gonna use up all of this before I go completely makeup free and hopefully can quit my regular job. But so yeah, the most sustainable thing you can do is use what you already have. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure everyone has like some containers for food in their kitchen. Use those. If you have old plastic like travel containers for toothbrushes or shampoo and conditioner, use them. Don't go out and get fancy metal or glass ones because that's what like looks cool or something. Just use what you already have. That goes for literally everything. Clothes, containers, what have you. Okay, I have this cup from the 1994 Kentucky Derby that my parents went to, and that's what I put my son's shampoo and soap bar in. It's like all in one because, you know, he's young. But I got that from the brand Ethique because some things that I'm not willing to compromise on, like the normal, like the mainstream baby shampoo that has a ton of shit in it, and like the mainstream deodorant, like I used to use like Secret and stuff like that, or like perfume. I don't use perfume or cologne anymore. I had so many perfumes and colognes because I think cologne smells just as good if not better than perfume. And my deodorant and cologne and perfume and toothpaste that had fluoride in it, I was not willing to use toothpaste with fluoride or deodorant with aluminum anymore, or perfume or cologne. So I gave all of that to people in my life who I know are gonna go to the grocery store or like CVS or something and buy that every week. So I just gave that to them because that was the sustainable thing to do. I'm not just gonna throw it away because it has shit in it. I'm gonna give it to someone who prefers the shit, which hurts me to see them use that, but I know they're just gonna go and get it anyway, so might as well give it to them, right? So for deodorant, I would love to just like use deodorant that I make, but for now I have some deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it, so I'm currently like using that up first that does come in plastic. But the brand that I use, that I'm going to use after I finish off these two, comes in this cardboard container, and it's native, not sponsored, but it used to come in plastic. It still does for some reason, but you can also get it like this, so I choose to get it like this in more low-waste packaging. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we literally have plastic and microplastic in us. So what I am most concerned about in my low-waste journey is reducing plastic, because plastic can break off into smaller bits and pieces and become microplastic. And that microplastic gets into the environment and gets into us, and that is why most humans have plastic in their blood. That's why there's plastic in the ocean. Friction causes little pieces of microplastic to break off of big pieces of plastic. Even like this, if it rubs up against like the sidewalk or something for some reason, little pieces of plastic are going everywhere in the environment, and that's not good for anything unless you're a being like made out of plastic, which I wouldn't be surprised if we keep living the way we're living we're gonna have little alien looking beings that are literally made out of plastic, you guys, and I don't want that, okay? So anyways, that's what I'm most concerned about, reducing just my garbage in general and plastic. Because plastic doesn't get recycled as much as you think it does. Like, I have a whole video on kind of how to recycle and the 7 different types of plastics, but I prefer to get things in glass, metal, or wood, or like cardboard or paper. Cardboard and paper is the same thing. So that's what I try to get materials in. If I get things that will last, and I buy secondhand. Okay, I use what I already have, I buy secondhand, or I get something in the most sustainable packaging option that they have. However, it's also important to note that it's not just the packaging that matters, it's how that product was made, okay? Because they could have had a supply chain that consists of extremely unethical and non-sustainable things, methods, all of that. So it's not just the end product that matters. It's not just like, oh, this comes in this cute little, container made out of glass and metal, and just a tiny bit of plastic. Like, this could be great. Well, kids in India could have been forced to make it. So it might not be the best option for you. It also might have flown from India on a plane to the US to be sold to you. And the person who you're buying it from could be, mining fossil fuels. So think about all of those things before you buy something, which it should not be your responsibility. It should not be the consumer's responsibility. But in this day and age we're living in, if this is important to you, these are the things that you have to know and think about. So anyways, this didn't come from a fossil fuel mining person in India who was involved in child labor. This was secondhand off Poshmark, actually. So yeah, use what you already have, buy secondhand. Some websites I love to use to buy secondhand, they're apps as well. They're not just websites. You can get like an app on your phone. So I love Poshmark. It's mainly clothes, but it's also just like random things that people put on there. That's probably like the number 1 site that I love, and you do have to be careful because there is some people who will buy like Nike backpacks or sweatshirts brand new and then just sell them on Poshmark, and like, it's not like they use them and they're done, wearing them and they're selling them. They're just literally buying stuff new and selling it new and kind of pretending that it's secondhand, but it's not. So I look at the person's profile and make sure, like, oh, they're posting a bunch of like Hollister and old Aeropostale and old throwback packs on t-shirts and stuff. Like, this is not all new Nike merch. So make sure it's actually secondhand and it's not just someone selling on a secondhand site selling brand new stuff, because that sucks. I don't like that. Facebook Marketplace is great, and that's usually like local pickup. You can ship things on there, but it's usually like you just meet up in, the town you live in, which is awesome and very sustainable. So I love Facebook Marketplace. My favorite place I also got this Oracle card deck on Poshmark. So if you are into witchy stuff, don't feel like you have to go and buy tarot decks and oracle decks or crystals or anything like that brand new. You can get it all secondhand. I am never buying any mystical supplies new again, besides like herbs and stuff, because that's like something you can't really get secondhand. Anyways, so I'm also never buying crystals again, brand new. Secondhand, sure, but brand new, hell to the no, because 1, it's very unsustainable, and ethically terrible. Usually it's like people who are not getting paid to mine the crystals, but honestly, even just for spiritual reasons, I believe that the crystals should stay in the earth, so I don't want to give money to big corporations who are mining crystals. It's also very hard to tell, the supply chain of where these crystals are from, how they're being mined, where they're being mined. Sometimes you read, oh, you know, it's quartz from Brazil. Cool, who mined it, when, where, how, why, you know? You don't see this information when you buy the crystal usually. It's just like, oh, amethyst from Argentina. Cool, but tell me more. And they literally can't. Anyways, so I don't buy any mystical stuff new, never buying any new crystals especially. But books, this book, you can see it says thrift books. So that's where I get 99% of my books now. I am obsessed with thrift books because I have gotten very much so into reading. I don't have as much time to read as I would like, but that's where I get all of my books, all of my son's books. As you can see, like, all of these books have a little thrift book sticker on it because I got them all secondhand from thrift books. And they are so great because they consolidate their shipping so well, so I really appreciate that. That's another thing that you can do to be more sustainable. Even if you're buying from places that aren't super great, like Target and Amazon, a lot of these sites do still have options so you can be a little bit more sustainable if you're like, this isn't very eco-friendly of me, but let's do this to try a little bit. You can consolidate your shipping. A lot of sites offer that now, so that's a step in the right direction. But anyways, let's get into more of these products that I have and just things that I do. So a random thing that I do is I save any like random bags. This bag, oh my gosh, I have had for literally 5 years, and about 5 years ago I made bath bombs, and I ran out of these little jars that I got as a gift to put them in. Like, these bath bombs are 5 years old. They're still good. They're not in ball form, sphere form, obviously. They're in jars because the balls didn't work. But I had one that just kind of like broke, so I put it in this bag and it's still in there. So I'll save bags for random things like that. You can save bags that you get to pick up dog poop or something. You can, I save saran wrap. Like, if someone in my house puts saran wrap over something instead of like putting it in a container like you should, I will save the saran wrap to use for something else to like put it in before I put it in the garbage, just to kind of not just throw a ball of empty saran wrap away and to actually like put something in it so it doesn't leak into the garbage and you have to use another garbage bag. Random little things like that. Also, I think everyone does this, and if you're not doing this, this is the one sustainable thing that you should definitely do. It's coming up Christmas now. It's coming up the holiday season, so really think about this if you haven't done this yet. Save gift bags, save tissue paper, save wrapping paper, save any little like cute little container that you can use to put a gift card or something in for a gift, okay? Giving gift cards as gifts is such a great option because then the people can get what they actually want from the place instead of like giving them something and then having to return it, because like returns are just a very unsustainable process. So getting things that you actually like from sustainable places, buying eco-friendly options is really great. Making a wish list so you can tell people what you actually want for your birthday or Christmas if you have family members like mine who, even if you say you don't want anything, they will get you something anyways. Just make a wish list of things that you actually want and put a link to that exact item that you want so it's not any, mix up and you get what you actually want. I save random things like temporary tattoos in this giant pill container that I randomly saved as well. Something everyone should be doing, water bottles. Water bottles. Why on earth would you still use plastic water bottles? If you have a situation where the water in your house is gross and you can't afford a filter or something at the moment, at least get gallon jugs instead that you can refill, or at least just buy the gallon jugs so it's less plastic than a water bottle, because there's more water in that container. It adds up to less plastic. Something that I'm not really sure how to explain that is sustainable, I somehow think this is sustainable in my opinion, is to just get a bunch of flash drives and put stuff on. That kind of just like saves space in general. If you have something that you think is super cool, like you made this giant, you know, picture on a large piece of paper, like I drew this giant human skeleton that was like real size, like 6 foot, and I was like, I just don't really want this in my house anymore. I can recycle it because it's on recyclable paper, so I'm going to recycle it, but like I want to take a picture of it, so I took a picture of it and I put it on a flash drive, and that just kind of like saved space. Somehow it might be sustainable. Maybe it's like a good idea for you. Instead of using paper, you can use chalkboards or whiteboards. Instead of physical calendars, you can have a calendar on your phone. You can save like old antique things, like this was my grandma's and my dad's. Instead of going to the store and buying a new knickknack that looks like very similar to that, I can just put that in my little altar. This like crystal glass basket, as well as like that angel over there, were my grandma's, and then I actually put my my Himalayan salt rocks in there because I totally would have gotten something similar, but she had that, she didn't want it anymore. I was like, instead of donating it to a thrift shop or something, I'll use this because I would have gotten something similar for that too. The tray that my crystals are on, which you can't see, that was hers as well. Like 85% of my jewelry was my great grandma's. So cute. You know, instead of giving it to a thrift shop and they may or may not have sold it to someone, or they could have just thrown it in the garbage, I'll keep it, I'll wear it, I'll give it as a gift to someone instead of buying something new. I have so many folders that when I was in school, I wrote like home ec, algebra 2 on, random stuff like that, in Sharpie, of course, but I still make use of the folder. Notebooks, same thing. Something that we've all heard of is the bamboo toothbrush. So obviously I have bamboo toothbrushes, and they can come with like different bristle colors, so you know the difference between different people in your families. My son has a bamboo toothbrush as well. If you're wondering why I'm holding this plastic one, it's because it was given to me unwillingly, without my consent. And this is Dino's toothbrush. My son has a big dinosaur, and that is, you know, how he lets me brush his teeth. He brushes Dino's teeth, I brush his teeth. When the toothbrushes are bad, I still use them to like scrub stuff off, and that has worked well. I have lots of toothbrush scrubber things. And then once I'm like, I don't really want to clean anything with this toothbrush anymore, then you can compost it and just throw out the bristles in the garbage instead of the whole dang toothbrush. Toothpaste, I have had an interesting relationship with. Obviously, I refuse to use fluorinated toothpaste. So I haven't started using this brand yet because I have other toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it, but isn't this brand that comes in this aluminum tube with this cool thing to go like that. That's nice. So I'm using up my old toothpaste before I start using that one, so I don't know how I like it yet, but I do like the other brand I'm using. However, I don't like the person who owns the company, so I'm not going to mention the name. So this company is doing good things. This is a last swab, I think the name of the company is called like The Last Object, but I have a bunch of the last swabs. This is actually the baby version for my son. I have some that are like the adult version that look a little different. And then also I got this, which is like kind of a different style, like more of an ear pick situation thing, instead of using Q-tips and stuff like that. Dental floss. So this is from Public Goods. It comes with like this first little like roll, and then I got a refill. As you can tell, I haven't opened it yet because I still have a ton of dental floss that came in plastic containers that I'm still using. You can also just use random strings as dental floss. This reusable safety razor from Eco Roots, and I saved the box because it's just really, really nice. A lot of people get their reusable safety razor from Leaf Shave. I got mine from Eco Roots and I love it. And then it comes with other blades, and this is how you change the blade. I grab these sides here where there is no blade, twist, turn it upside down, and it's just gonna start kind of, you'll feel in these fingers right here, it kind of coming apart. This comes off, can set that down. You're left with this, and then you see, I kind of set this down, but so I can show you, I'll hold it with my hand. You just pull this off with those two fingers. You're left with the blade in here, and this is the threads that this goes into. So this blade is just sitting in here. The only thing holding it is this. You can pull the blade off, put a new blade on if needed. You just pop that new blade if you're changing the blade, or if you're just like cleaning it or something, leave it on, obviously. This, so you know it's on the right way, this is kind of curved. You just put the curves together, okay? You'll know if you put it on upside down because it won't go in properly. And then you just thread this back on. You'll feel in these fingers right here, it kind of squeezing back together. Thread it on super tight, and there you go. I was terrified to use this when I first got it, but you guys, it is so easy. I've just been really used to using the disposable plastic razors, you know, for years. But once I just tried this, like after the second time, I was like, I got the hang of this. It's no big deal at all. And this should last me like forever. Do you see how good of a quality this is? I really didn't need to make this purchase, but I made it anyway. This is like another shaving option that's like low or zero waste, and you just basically scrub super hard with this, and then hair will like come off. So I have that as well. I prefer the safety razor over that, so I don't really recommend, but maybe you like it. So I have this shaving cream bar on this soap dish that I've had for years. I use this for shaving cream sometimes, but I'm still using up shaving cream that I've had for years. So I'm using up that first before I switch to the shaving cream bars. So as far as body wash goes, Ethique is such a great brand. This is just condensed body wash. I'll show you what it looks like. I have not used it yet because I am still using up my old Dove and stuff like that, which I'm not a big fan of at all, but I have a ton of it left, so I'm going to finish that first before I switch to this. It's condensed right now, so then you actually make it yourself. I know that it's easy because it's exactly like making their hand soap, which I have made the hand soap. So I guess I'm assuming that this is made just like the hand soap was, because the hand soap comes in the same exact looking shape, and the hand soap was super easy to make. I was so proud of myself. Yeah. Same concept, you guys. The hand soap is great. I ran out of like hand soap, so that's why I have already started using this. Got this bottle secondhand, like I said. And this has lasted me like a long time because it's just very potent. Like, this is the best hand soap I have ever used by far. Way better than that Dial shit, in my opinion. Way better than Bath & Body Works too. Also from Ethique, when I got a bunch of shampoo bars and the body wash and the hand soap for Christmas, they gave me this as well, which is like a sample pack of all of these different bars. So it's a body wash, a body polish, another body wash, a deodorant bar, ooh, and a butter block. So all of this comes in this sampler pack that you get when you buy things from them sometime. This was around Christmas last year, so they might have that deal going on Christmas this year as well. And I'll just show you guys the packaging of all of these different shampoo bars I have from them. As I bet you can guess, I'm still using up my old shampoo that is gross shit like Redken and Suave and Tresemme and all that shit. I'm still using that up, but then I'm going to switch to just shampoo bars. So if you guys have been to hotels, you know that they give you lotion and conditioner. This bag is filled with it. And shampoo. This bag is filled with it. So I save those travel size shampoo and conditioner and lotions, and I use that when I'm traveling to places that aren't a hotel, or if a friend comes to spend the night. Like when I was a teenager, if my girlfriend came over to spend the night, I would just give her, you know, a little travel size shampoo and conditioner to shower with. This stuff is great. I found it when I was pregnant, when I was searching for like plant-based cleaners. These are like air fresheners. These are like the eco-friendly version of like Febreze. They are 100% plant-based. They smell so good, and I feel totally comfortable just spraying off my son's stuffed animals or whatever with these. My son does not produce a lot of waste at all. The only waste he produces is from eating food and then one disposable diaper every 24 hours, and that's literally the only waste I can think of. I'm sure I'll make a video in the future on how to have like a low waste, zero waste baby, toddler, kid. My son's in like the toddler stage right now. He's still using diapers. He uses cloth diapers. I've done a whole video on cloth diapers. I'll leave it in the description of this video if you want to check that out. And wet bags, like I got this wet bag from Nora's Nursery, which is the company that I got his diapers from. And yes, he has his own wet bags for the diapers, but I got this wet bag just for like bathing suits. Instead of throwing wet bathing suits into like a plastic bag and throwing it away, this is a wet bag with 2 different zipper compartments, and I will use that for the rest of my life whenever I go to the beach. Or I'll use it for my period panties from Thinx, which is another sustainable thing you can do. This one is for the people with a period. Get period panties. I got mine from Thinx. I have basically a whole video on that. I'll leave the link to that video in the description of this video as well if you want to check out what the heck period panties are, so you don't have to buy pads or tampons ever again. Menstrual cups are another great option, however, I don't really like them. I just get the bigger option whenever I can. This doesn't look that big on camera, but compared to like a 100 count, a 500 count is quite a bit. I take vitamin D almost every single day, so that's a good option just to get a bigger container. They also have you know, vitamins and supplements that come in more sustainable containers rather than plastic, but I've had that for years, so that's why I still have it. As far as laundry detergent goes, I'm on the last bottle of my liquid laundry detergent actually, which is a pretty big achievement, but I got these things called soap nuts, which I talked about in the cloth diaper video I did as well. So I have this giant old pickle jar that I got secondhand, totally manifested it, awesome story. I had known that I wanted like a giant glass jar to put my soap nuts in, but I was not about to go out and buy a brand new giant glass jar. So I literally manifested this old pickle jar. One day my brother randomly brought it home from school when he was still living with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, can I have that jar? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. So I have my other brand of soap nuts in that jar because, like I said, I'm on my last bottle of liquid laundry detergent, so I'm going to start using soap nuts after that. I also have them from this brand. I don't know if they are ethically sourced or not, which is terrible. So I'm currently researching to try to figure it out. It should not be that hard to figure out if brands are ethical or not, you guys. But also it came with this like condensed liquid laundry detergent. So that's good as well. I'll keep this on hand if I ever like need to make, you know, some liquid detergent. And you can also reuse those bags that the soap nuts come in because they're super cute. Instead of fabric softener, I use these wool dryer balls from Public Goods. And if you want, if you're into essential oils, you can just plop a few drops onto those babies and toss them in the dryer with your stuff. I am into essential oils. I just make sure that they are ethically sourced and from a sustainable company, and that they are high quality. They're not just, you know, shitty, I don't want to say off brands because the brand name is not important whatsoever. But like, I remember the first time I got some essential oil, it was off of like this super weird website or app, and I got one thing for free that was like under $3, and I chose the tiniest little container of lemon essential oil, and it was totally fake. It was like yellow tinted water. It was disgusting. It was not real whatsoever. So make sure you get your essential oils in dark glass containers, and make sure you do research on the company as well. If it's coming in a giant plastic bottle, it's not good essential oil. And if it's super cheap, it's not good essential oil because it takes a ton of roses to produce rose oil, for example. So also do not just go using essential oil for everything. That's not sustainable, okay? Because like I said, there's a huge process that goes into making these essential oils. So the most sustainable way to get essential oils is to make them yourself, to harvest them yourself, or have someone locally in your community that does it a sustainable way and buy from them. That's a very sustainable thing to do, is get soap bars locally, get essential oils or herbs locally. That's what I use for perfume because I don't use really any form of perfume. Like, I wear my deodorant, I shower good, and I use soap. So I don't really see a need to use perfume. But if I do want to smell extra good, I will just put 1 drop of essential oil on each shoulder or my wrist or whatever. And that makes me smell super potent throughout the day. Way better than perfume. If you wanted to, you could put like diluted essential oil into a spray bottle that you've had for something else and use it like that. I don't really have any spray bottles currently. Maybe once I finish up using one of these grow sprays, I could use this. Another thing I do is I save glass jars because I put my herbs in those so they last longer. That's another really sustainable thing to do, is preserve things like herbs, if you're into that, or just food in general. If you have, you know, some blueberries in the fridge that are gonna go bad soon, pop those babies in the freezer. They will last so much longer. I recently got into canning, which I am sure I will do videos about in the future, but I actually just yesterday canned some cherry tomatoes that I grew for the first time so they'll last longer. So preserving food is obviously a good way to stop food waste. Eat your dang leftovers. I drank this root beer when I was like 10 years old at a restaurant, and I kept the bottle because I thought it looked cool. And it does make like just a good little knick-knack, and you could put lights into it and turn it into something like a centerpiece for a dinner party or something like that. So I do save lots of random things like this for that very purpose. Another weird thing I do is I will get Christmas presents in like July or whenever I find them, okay? Because I get people gifts secondhand. Just like I ask people to get me gifts secondhand if they see something. My mom knows, she has a list of things that I want for my son or for myself, that if she sees it, I want her to tell me about so I can get it whenever it's available secondhand. 99% of my son's toys are secondhand because that is how I prefer it. I have lots of recycled plastic things. To sum this video up, I use what I already have first. If I don't have what I'm looking for, I shop secondhand. If I still can't find what I'm looking for, then I will buy sustainable items like this rechargeable lighter and this reusable lint roller. It's also important to mention that when getting rid of your own unwanted items, resort to selling them secondhand before giving them to Salvation Army or Goodwill, because Goodwill throws away most of the donations that they receive. Also, don't forget to talk about sustainability. Don't let these weird hippie habits that I do be just weird hippie habits. Talk about it with people in your family. Talk about it with friends. Talk about it with strangers. Mention it in a conversation. Plant that seed so it is no longer weird to do these things. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.